Okay, so good afternoon, class. So we are now with your module 9 in your general chemistry with organic chemistry. So the title of this module is functional groups and other families of carbon compounds. So with your previous lesson, if you recall with our previous lesson, okay, with your introduction to hydrocarbons, these are made up of carbon and hydrogen. So all the chemicals that I have mentioned or all the compounds uh, with our previous lesson are made up of carbon and hydrogen. So they are called as hydrocarbons. But now we are under the functional groups and other families of carbon compounds, so which means na naka-retain yung carbon element, which is made up of a compound, but now not only about the carbon and hydrogen, but with oxygen. So, but now this is under the hydroxyl group. Okay, so with your alcohol and your phenol, okay, with your alcohol and your phenol, so they are, may consider nyo siya siguro as an alcohol, but the difference between them is that when you say phenol, it is more acidic. It is acidic compared to the alcohol. Your alcohol, as I have mentioned, with your acids and bases, that your alcohol, although Google considered as an acid, but alcohol is lightly base. Okay, so which means that your phenols, I must acidic siya compare with your alcohol. Okay, the difference between them is that your phenol are made up of benzene or of benzene ring, while your alcohol without the presence of your benzene ring. Okay, so let us first discuss about the objectives of this module. So it says here that it is recognize the alcohol, the phenols, the ethers, functional groups, and aside from that, okay, you have also aldehydes and then the quinones, which are included in this module. So based on this picture, so if you notice, these are made up of other compounds, which are ang presence dito ay may oxygen and then the phosphorus. But this is a chemicals. Okay, so if you notice, these are related with our lesson for today because when you say alcohol, it is made up of hydroxyl group or hydroxide or OH. Okay, so the difference between your alcohol and then the phenols, as I have mentioned, is that the phenols ay gawa sa benzene ring. Okay, what is functional group? So when you say functional group class, these are groups which are made up of atoms attached with a carbon molecule. Same with your hydrocarbons, meron pa rin siyang carbon. Okay, aside from your hydrogen, but now meron pa siyang oxygen. And this is arrangement and give a compound a certain physical chemical properties. So iba naman yung ating pag-uusapan, and these are about the properties, the structures, and the name, and how to make names of these compounds. So it says here that the functional group in biological molecules are important in the formation of DNA, proteins, carbohydrates, and lipids. So these are mentioned about the macromolecules. So DNA, the proteins, carbohydrates, and then the lipids. Okay, so your DNA, proteins, carbohydrates, and lipids are made up of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. So malalaman niyo yun with your biochemistry subject because ang structure the structure of these macromolecules ay i-discuss. Functional groups are group of atoms within the molecules with their own characteristics and properties, regardless of the other atoms present in the molecule. So for example, nagbago ang kanyang formula, nagbabago rin ang number of atoms. Okay? So for example, merong CH2, merong CH3. So the number of atoms ay nagbabago. When you say alcohol, so let us first discuss with your alcohol. So when you say alcohol, this is a type of hydrocarbon. Okay, so which means the meron siyang carbon and hydrogen made up of functional group, which is OH, or the oxygen and hydrogen. Okay, the formula for your alcohol is under the saturated carbon, which is made up of single bonds. But other alcohols, ay nagsasabi, they are made up of tertiary or made up of triple bonds or double bonds. Okay, so depende yun sa ibibigay na alcohol. Alcohol came from the Arabic term, okay, which is alcohol, meaning the fine powder, which is the antimony sulfide, which is ginagamit nito at ito ay ginagamit during the Middle Ages which is alcohol means essence of anything. Okay, so may amoy. According to IUPAC or nomenclature system, it says here that when you are naming the name of alcohol, you have to drop the letter E. So like for example, the word alkane with your previous lessons. Diba? So when you say this about the alkane, so yung alkane na yun ay magiging, you have to remove letter E and you have to change that in OL, so maging alkane or alkanol. Okay, so alkane. So methanol, methane is methanol. Okay, so papalitan mo yung letter E. So even with your alkene and then your alkyne, so like for example, pag ang given is under the alkyl, so like for example, the methyl, the isopropyl, okay, you have to change nung dulo. Okay, you have to change that into OL ang dulo. Okay, so kung iyan ay alkenyl, that is alkinol. Alkene, that is alkinol. Okay, alkane, that is alkanol. Okay, so that is how to formulate your alcohol. So here, if you notice, okay, there is a presence of oxide or the OH, and this one is a primary type of alcohol which is attached to a single carbon. Okay, so malalaman natin mamaya about the types of alcohols. Okay, the examples of alcohol as follows. So this is methanol, as I have said, diba? This is methane. So you have to remove the letter E, then you have to add OL sa dulo. So it becomes methanol. This one is your ethanol. Same way, this came from ethane. So i-remove mo yung E, and then you papalitan mo ng UL. So that is ethanol. Okay, so if you notice with the formula, okay, meron ditong 2 carbon atoms. This one is 1 carbon atom. So titingnan natin mamaya. This one is your butanol. Okay, so this came from butane. So kung titingnan mo, there is a number of hydroxide here sa dulo, then they have number of carbons. Okay, but it is the types of alcohol ay belong with the number with the attached carbon sa ating OH. Okay, so if you notice, meron silang mga number of carbons, and then like for example the propanol is attached to the hydroxide, meron pa siyang ibang attachment. Okay, so this is your carbon, it is attached sa dalawang hydrogen, then the carbon. So let us tackle it one by one. So what are the types of alcohol? So it is either primary. So kung primary, meron siyang 1 degree. The secondary, syempre, 1 degree din, 2 degrees, and then tertiary, 3 degrees. So the primary is a carbon which carries OH, meron silang OH at attached sila sa alkyl group. Okay, so malalaman nyo yung alkyl groups, it is either ba methyl. Okay, so they're called as the ethyl groups. Secondary alcohols, these are carbon atom is attached to 2 alkyl groups. Pag dalawa naman ang kanyang attachment into an alkyl group, so like for example CH3 or CH2 or another carbon, okay, that is equal to secondary alcohols. Pag tertiary, there are 3. Okay, so here, these are the classification of alcohol. Dito natin makikita at may apply ang ating types of alcohol. So it's here, it says that this is a part of primary alcohol. Why is it considered as a primary alcohol? So naka-attach siya sa isang carbon, 1 carbon compound or 1 alkyl group. Okay, so this one is the OH. So this one class, ito yung dulo na to, this is CH3, CH2, this one is CH2. So kung ano yung formula na sa taas, ginawa lang siyang ganito. Okay, so meron siya ditong compound. Meron nakakabit na compound. So this one ay nakakabit sa H2, dito sa H2, then the other one is H3. Okay, so this hydroxide ay nakakabit siya sa isang alkyl group which is CH2. So ang CH2 na yan, ay isa lang ang dinadagdagan niya. Pero yung CH2 na to ay wala ng ibang dugtong. Okay, so kagaya nito class. So this is CH. Okay, ang CH ay nakagalamay, dalawa. So that is the reason why secondary. So here, ang OH ay nakakabit sa CH2, nakakabit lang siya sa isang CH2. Kasi ang dulo nito na CH3, nakakabit sa CH2. So these are considered as primary alcohol pag isa lang ang kinakabitan ng alkyl group. Okay, so this one is your hydroxide at ito yung inyong alkyl group. Okay, so it is nakakabit siya sa dalawang another alkyl groups. Okay, so that is secondary alcohol. Okay, so this one is under the secondary alcohol. Why is it? Because this OH, this one is OH, ay nakakabit ang CH or the alkyl group sa dalawang another alkyl group, CH2 and then CH2. Okay, ang iba kasi nakakabit na sa iba. So that is what you call the secondary alcohol. How about this one? This is considered as primary alcohol, even though na mahaba naman. This is your hydroxide. Your hydroxide is connected with isang alkyl group, and this alkyl group is connected to another group, pero nagkaroon na ng sanga-sanga. So maigi sana kung meron pa siyang nakalagay dito, which is counted under the secondary. Okay, how about when you say tertiary alcohol? So pag sinabi siyang tertiary alcohol, this is the hydroxide class. So this is the this is a carbon element or carbon molecule, which is nakakabit sa isang alkyl group, one alkyl group, two alkyl group, three alkyl group. So that is the reason why that is under the tertiary alcohol. Okay, so these are the primary, secondary, okay, and tertiary alcohol. So it's here, hindi siya masyadong, it is represented kasi with the letter R. But it says here, para siyang alkyl group. So when you say, this is the hydroxide class, okay, so ang inyong hydroxide ay nakakabit sa isang carbon compound, and this carbon compound is nakakabit sa isang R1. Pag dalawa, ibig secondary, pag tatlo, that is tertiary. Okay, here, examples of primary, secondary, and tertiary alcohols. So these are considered, the ethanol is considered as primary. Why? Single bond. Isa pa, this is an OH. It is not a single bond naman sila lahat eh. So this one is OH. Ito yung carbon nito ay nakakabit. This OH ay nakakabit ang isang carbon. Okay, so this is, ano kasi, ang formula nito is CH3, then CH. Okay, CHO. Okay, then the other side, CH, this one hydroxide kasi, CH2. Why? Because there is one atom of carbon and three atoms of hydrogen. In this part, there is a hydroxide here, one carbon atom and two are carbon atoms of hydrogen. So it says here that this is, ang OH kasi ay nakakabit sa isang carbon compound. Why about here? So here, sabi niya, the isopropanol, which is under the secondary because the OH ay nakakabit sa carbon, and then meron pa siyang iba't ibang carbon compounds na dalawa. Okay, so medyo magulo class, ano? Pero yun lang, tatandaan nyo, pagdating sa carbons, okay, pag dalawang carbon na nakakonect sa kanya, that is secondary. Pag isang carbon lang ang nakakonect sa kanya, that is primary. How about this one? Sa tertiary, ito yung OH at ito yung carbon. So yung carbon ay this carbon ay nakakabit sa tatlong carbon pa. So that is what you call the tertiary alcohol. Okay, so this one, primary, secondary, tertiary alcohol. Okay, so this one is the methanol and then the other one is the phenol. Okay, so this one is hindi siya naka-benzene ring. So this is under the alcohol and your phenol. It's here. It is made of benzene ring. Okay, so it is primary, secondary, and then the tertiary. Paano malalaman? So this one is the carbon compound. So carbon ang pinag-uusapan. Kung nakita nyo yung carbon, it is connected with one carbon atom. This one is connected with your 3, 1, 2, dalawa pala rather. So this is secondary. And this one is CH3 man yan siya. Okay, so this is a CH3 pero may carbon compound pa rin siya. Nakakabit yung C or carbon sa isa, dalawa, tatlo. So that is what we call the tertiary alcohol. Okay, so this one, let us practice. So this is the OH. So this is a carbon. So yung carbon ay nakakonect sa dalawang alkyl group or dalawang carbon. So this is secondary. How about this one? This is hydroxide. Nandito yung carbon class, imaginary. So nakakabit siya sa isang carbon. Kasi wala na siyang sanga pang iba. So that is primary. This one, this is the hydroxide. Ito yung hydroxide. Nakakabit siya sa isa, dalawa, tatlo. So this is tertiary. Okay, these are the names and structures of several other alkyl groups. So kung nakikita may mga methylone, methylone, okay, ethanol or methanol, okay? So ang methyl, para hindi kayo mahihirapan kasi nakakabulol eh. So gagawin mo lang tong methane. Ang methyl kasi came from, this is under the third type of alipathic, which is, di ba, THL ang dulo doon. So this is methane dapat in the alkane group. Okay, so mayon ay magiging methanol. So this one is methyl alcohol, but this is methanol. Okay? So, pag nakakita kayo ng CH3 class, ang tawag doon sa alkyl group is methyl. This one is CH3C2, that is ethyl. Okay? So on and so forth. So, these are the examples here. Okay, the structural formula is CH3, CH2, CH2, meron siyang hydroxide. Okay, so this is, ano bang tawag doon? Pag CH3, CH2, dalawang CH2, akyat tayo sa taas. Okay, dalawang CH2, isang CH3. CH3, dalawang CH2, that is propyl. So this is, propyl came from the word propane. So magiging propanol. Okay, so this one, propanol. Okay, ang kanyang common name is propyl alcohol. Tapos, i-change mo siya into IU-POC, name that is propanol. How about with the formula of CH3CH2OH? So this one, CH3CH2OH, ang hydroxide, yun yung line nito, that is ethyl. So that is ethyl alcohol. So ethyl alcohol came from ethanol, that is, from ethane, that is ethanol. How about when you say methyl alcohol, CH3OH? So anong meron ditong CH3? This is methyl. So this is methyl alcohol. I-change mo yung dulo. Came from the word methanol. That is methanol. Okay? So yun yung paggamit nyo doon ng structure or the formula. How about when you say phenols? So these are organic aromatic compounds. So nakikita nyo, may mention doon about the saturated. As I have said, there are some alcohols na considered as unsaturated. So hindi lamang siya saturated, but others are unsaturated, which means napasok yung single bond, double bond, and then the triple bonds. But here in the phenols, ay meron siyang aromatic compound. So merong benzene ring. Okay, and this is also known as your carboxylic acid. So phenol sometimes considered as an alcohol, but the difference is that because of this property, your alcohol is considered as a base. Diba? As I have mentioned, pwede mo siya considered, but some Google it says na ang acid ang alcohol, but it is almost kasi nagsasabi it's a part of the base. So how about when you say phenol? Ang phenol talaga sure na isa siyang acids. Okay, so phenol is sometimes considered as an alcohol, but it has an ionic property. Alcohol were hydroxyl group of attached to saturated carbon atoms, but your phenol is attached to a benzene ring. Okay, so this is attached to unsaturated aromatic hydrocarbon ring, so which means na unsaturated, which is either a double or triple bond. So titingnan natin mamaya kasi ang alcohol daw is attached to a saturated or a single bond. So phenols are more acidic, which is because of stabilization of conjugate base to the presence of benzene ring. So it's here. So this is your benzene ring. Okay, so may OH siya, meron siyang benzene ring. So what are the rules in naming the nomenclature of phenols? So first here, you have to locate the hydroxyl group. Okay, so dapat meron siyang benzene ring na naka-attach. If the benzene rings are attached to more than one hydroxyl group with the presence of numerical prefixes, so pag dalawa ang kanyang hydroxyl, that is di. Okay, pero pag isa ang hydroxylia or OH, that is mono, then di, so on and so forth. Okay, if there are two hydroxyl groups are attached to the adjacent, so this is benzene ring is 2-diol or 2, yan. Pero tingin ko hindi ko naman siya ganun kalalim. Okay, in the case of substituted phenols, we locate the positions of other functional groups depending on the position of the hydroxyl group. So, pag ang grupo ay naka-mention about the methyl group CH3, that is methyl phenol. Okay, so depende. Okay, depends on the position of the hydroxyl group, like the words ortho, pag ang functional group ay nag-join siya sa carbon atom, if the functional group with the third carbon atom, that is what you call the para. Okay, meta naman, pag naka-join siya sa, ang ating hydroxyl group ay sa second carbon. Ganun siya. Okay, this is known as the methyl phenol with the formula of CH3. Ang OH ay naka-attach siya CH3. Ang CH3 is methyl. So since this is under the CH3, that is, diba dapat iyan ay methyl benzene. So, okay. So, methyl siya. So, you don't have to mention about sa taas sa class, ha? Okay, simple lang ang gagawin natin. So, methyl CH3. Then, dahil meron siyang benzene ring, that is benze. So, benzene, tapos lalagyan mo ng OL. So, that is methyl benzenol. Okay, so this is attached to a benzene ring. Okay, how about when you say methyl phenol, which is under the 3? So, which means that, ito yun siya. Okay, so this is your carbon. So the first 2 and 3. So bago siya, that is equal to 3-methyl. How about here? It is 2. Why? Because this one, ang OH, ay meron dito attached na carbon. So this is 1. Then the second one, here is 2. Kaya nagiging ganun. Here naman, the carbon is here. Then 1, 2, and 3. Kaya nga may 3-methyl benzenol dyan. Okay? So medyo mahirap. Siguro kung talagang malalim, why is it? How about dito, bakit nagiging 4-methyl phenol siya? So, naka-attach siya sa CH3, pero from here, from the OH, okay? So, class A, nandito siya sa gitna. That is the reason why, okay? Kung babalik ta rin mo man yan, 4 pa rin yan. So, naka-attach dito ang carbon, bago makarating dito, ilang sides? 1, 2, 3, and 4. That is the reason why that is 4-methyl phenol or the 4-methyl benzenol. Okay, meron siyang benzene. So, yung benzene mo, ang E sa benzene sa dulo, ay pinalitan mo ng OL. Okay, how about when you say ethers? Ethers came from the Latin word aether, which means ignite. So, flammable. So, it is ethers are organic compounds which are made up of oxygen also, which is attached to 2 carbon atoms. Okay, so which means na ito yung ang oxygen natin ay naka-attach sa dalawang carbon atoms. So, general formula for this is ROR. So, what are the steps of naming ethers? So, it's here that alkyl group is found at the end of the name. So, there is an ether at the end of the name. Alkyl group is found before the name ether. So, methyl ether. If there is 2 alkyl groups of the same, use the prefix di. So kung dalawa ang kanyang ethyl group, you have to mention about the di. But if it is not the same, arrange it in alphabetical order. Place a space between the names of the alkyl groups, if not the same, and before the word ether. So here is the example. Okay, so this is one is the oxygen, which is attached na nasa gitna. Okay, naka-attach siya sa dalawang carbon. That is the reason why this is di. Okay, so ethyl yan dahil kung titingnan nyo rito, this one is with the formula of CH2. Okay, that the ethyl here, so titingnan natin sa ating table. Okay, so pag CH2 siya, here, this one is the CH2. Okay, the ethyl, so I think the other one is CH3 or CH3, CH2, the formula. Wait. Okay, this one. Okay, so class, kung titingnan mo, this formula is C, tapos tatlong hydrogen, that is CH3, tapos C, dalawang hydrogen, that is CH2. So this one is ethyl. So that is the reason why, kung titingnan mo rito, ang kanyang pangalan is diethyl ether. So nilalagay sa dulo ang ether na word. Okay, paano mo malalaman pag ito ay under the ether? So yung oxygen ay nasa gitna ng dalawang formula. So this is CH3, this is CH2, this one is, ano ba ito? CH3, and then the other one is CH2. Okay, so this is ethyl, under doon sa table. So ethyl, dalawa ang naka-attach sa dalawa, that is diethyl. Dahil ito ay may oxygen sa gitna, that is ether. How about when you say methyl propyl ether? So ang methyl, alam natin na this is, pag sinabi siyang methyl propyl, okay, the formula here, okay, pag CH3 lang class ha, kung isa lang to, that is methyl. Pero dahil CH3, CH2, that is ethyl. Okay, so here, so may methyl kasi siyang sinabi, then the propyl. Okay, ano yung, ano dito? This is CH3. Naka-attach siya sa isang CH3, tapos ito kasi ay pareho, then ito naman ay ibang formula. So this is CH3. So pareho lang sila klasa. How about this one? Okay, so this is CH2, CH2. So that is the reason why meron siyang methyl propyl. Okay. This one on the table. Okay. So propyl, CH3, ano pa siya? CH2, CH2. Okay, so that is propyl. I think that is propyl already. It is not necessarily to place. So this is a copy-paste kasi klase. So the exact word for this, okay, so the word here, Okay, the word here in minention is about the methyl propyl. But I have to check about this kasi according to me, this is already a propyl. But there is a letter which is found. Titingnan ko ha, okay? Kasi dito they are the same. The same naman sila eh, sa may gilid, dalawang gilid. Meron lang siyang karugtong which is CH2, CH2. So that is under the propyl. So dapat yan ay propyl ether. So, ang dito naman, naka-attach siya sa pareho. Di naman sila pareho class. So that is methyl propyl lang talaga nilagay. So let me check. But I think this is tama naman siguro. The first, okay, ganito yan siya. Okay, kaya nga methyl kasi this is another group. Okay, so this is another group which is methyl, rather ha, ito na yung totoo. This one is the methyl and this one is the propyl. That is the reason why the methyl propyl ether. How about dito, bakit ginamit na di? Kasi pareho lang class. Ha, di means dalawang ethyl. The formula of your ethyl is CH3CH2. While here, your methyl is CH3, so ito yung sakop niya. Your propyl here, ito yung formula niya. CH3, CH2, CH2. That is the reason why this is methyl propyl ether, not wala siya nakakabit na di. Here, on the opposite side class, kasi pareho lang, tapos pareho pang ethyl. Okay? How about when you say aldehydes and ketones? So these are aldehydes and ketones. These are the carbonyl group. So they are always called as formyl or methanol group. So these aldehydes are made up of carbonyl group bonded to at least one hydrogen atom, while ketones made up of carbonyl group, pero they are bonded to one carbon atom. So like here. So this is your carbonyl group. Ito yun ha. Masasabi siyang carbonyl group pag nakita kayo nito. Okay, so this one is a carbonyl group, and this aldehyde ay naka-attach siya sa isang hydrogen atom, while your ketone ay wala siyang hydrogen atom. Okay, aldehydes, sabi niya, aldehydes made up of carbonyl group, this one, at least one hydrogen atom. Okay, while ketones made up of carbonyl group, so carbonyl groups bonded to two carbon atoms. So I think this is carbon atom. So pag hydrogen, isang hydrogen lang, that is aldehyde. Pag ketone, two carbon atoms. Naming this aldehyde. So this aldehyde came from the parent name alkane. So galing daw siya sa alkane. Ano ba yung alkane nyo? There is letter E at the end. Pero pag aldehyde na yung compound or or a substance, you have to remove letter E. Okay, so like for example, phenol, di ba? Ang profane, pag ilagay mo yan sa alcohol, that is prophenol. Pag ito naman ay aldehyde, that is prophenol. Okay? So the aldehyde functional group, the number one, is not included in the name. So the common name of aldehyde begins with the suffix of, with the parent chain name and the suffix aldehyde. So here, so the penthane, okay, ang penthane natin ay ini-remove yung letter E sa dulo, dinagdagan ng AL. So that is becomes pentanol. Okay? So kung sa inyong alcohol, yun ay pentanol. So ang letter E remove, that is yan. So with your alkane, letter E remove, alkanol. Okay, diba? So mahirap gumawa ng name. Naming ketones. Kung ketones take the name of the parent alkane chain. So the letter E at the end. So pag ketones ay pinalitan ng 1O or ONE. Okay, so like for example here, if this is hexane, okay, tatanggalin mo yung letter E, combine with your ONE, this becomes hexanone. Okay, so that is the end of your lesson. But before that, let us go back with your alcohol. Okay, medyo magulo eh. Okay, with your table class, I have to emphasize this. So here, okay, so propyl kasi, it is an alcohol. This is a propyl alcohol. Bakit siya naging propanol? I think this came from propane. So ni-remove yung letter isa sa dulo ng propane. So this becomes propanol. Kasi baka malito kayo. Okay, this is ethyl. So this is ethane. Okay, nagiging ethine lang siya. Diba? Ang ginamit is YL. Diba? So with your tertiary or the third part of your alipathic, so this ethyl came from the word ethane. Okay, so i-remove mo yung letter sa dulo, magiging ethanol. Same with your methyl. So this is an YL. Okay, so this came from methane, so removing and becomes methanol. Okay, so that is the end of your module 9, which is entitled as your methanol, your um, functional groups and other families of carbon compounds. Okay, so class, you have to be careful when you are naming the compounds. Okay, so masyadong matrabaho ang ating lesson for today at ito ay susundan pa ng another